So one of the first things we usually do after the coffee is we feed the kitty cat. And I need to unlock the door because nowadays, even in the country, you don't want to not do that. But there's Kitty. Hello, meow. Come on, Kitty. I know for a fact there is a hungry cat right here. There you go. Yeah, there's the kitty. So that's the first thing. Before anything else, gotta feed the kitty. Or kitty tries to get in the house. But the sun is just now coming up. Been cleaning on the porch. I need to get this old sheetrock off of here. The weather's pretty much degraded it now. Weren't going to use it anyway. But that's the one thing. We're going to go check the garden real fast. So anyway, we just had a small storm come through. Supposedly there's more on the way. It's pretty well overcast. So hopefully it'll hold off. And we'll just go down here. I still have work to do on this old house, but it's in better condition than it was. I'll show you the garden. This is pretty much all that's left of the garden. We went ahead and just let the weeds go because there's nothing left to grow in here. And the tomato plants have surpassed them. We're still waiting on tomatoes, but I don't think we're going to get any. The only bean plant that's left that the rabbits haven't eaten is right there. And I think the reason that is because it's up against those tomatoes and they won't touch the tomato plants. So the bean plant may be getting some benefit from that. So we're just going to let that one go to seed. And when it does, since it was the strongest out of all of them, we're going to harvest it and dry the seeds and put them up. And then hopefully plant them again. And this is my tomato plant here. I got flowers. I've had hundreds of flowers. Now there's a lot more. But it never puts on a tomato. It just has a million flowers. Go figure. It still smells nice. And these down here, these are supposedly Cherokee purples. We're going to see what they do. They always look good in the morning. Hopefully they'll do better. We'll see what happens. I don't think we're going to get a harvest from them before the winter sets in. It's taking so long. And this ground, if you can see the color of the grass, well, you probably can't. This ground has been fertilized. It's extremely fertile. It's good food. The tomato plants just grow and grow and grow, but they don't make any fruit. Even the ones that can pollinate. Somebody said, you need more than one plant to pollinate. The Cherokee purples are not making anything. They're just sitting there looking at us. And these little flags are some plants that we tried to get to grow that Jeremy next door gave us back when the garden was actually still intact. And the damn rabbits ate those too, so I'll be out shooting rabbits. And this is our new internet. I've done a video on that, and you probably heard about it. And that's turning out pretty good. We're consuming about 400 megabytes a day, so I don't think we're going to hit our 10 gig cap anytime soon. And this is all in. I showed you this. We're getting about 180 watts. This thing will charge a 115 amp hour battery about half a day. We get full charge by noon. Use that for charging batteries, running lights, that kind of thing. Right now it's just doing minimal work, but when I get the rest of my stuff up, hopefully it'll do more of a job. And that's about it. We have some cleaning up in the yard. I got to come out here and cut this. I'm going to do that this evening, hopefully. And I believe that storm is either moving off or coming. I can't scale it to tell. But there's some thunder in it. You can still hear the water dripping in the woods off the trees. It's a constant rustle. I don't even know if this thing can pick it up. But I'll take y'all for a walk and I'll show you how things are now. Maybe I'll wait till it's a little brighter. But then again, it gets pretty hot, so off we go. This is where we begin. We'll just head on out. This is the beginning of everything outside the fence. I had mentioned to TechMan on the Off-Grid Camper project that this is the well house, the only building on this property that apparently was wired for power. When we came up here, and everything in this thing was in complete, it was completely messed up. The scavengers had been in, and pretty much anything that had copper in it they pulled. But it still had its standoffs and other things, so. And it's a little dark, it's kind of hard to see. We're right on the threshold of daylight. But yeah, that building's original. I reinforced it. I put some stuff on the roof and put new pump in, put new air tank in, air bladder. It's an airlift pump. And what that does, there's no submersible pump down in there. There is a air compressor that forces air to the bottom of the well, and the rising air through buoyancy and displacement, it pushes the water up hundreds of feet. I think that well is about 700 feet. That's what they said. And we got that working, so we had water, but had to wire up the whole house. And the weird thing about the house, okay, in the wintertime when I showed you this, I'll get back to the house. In the wintertime when I showed you this, all this was gone. You could see clear out there, and there were no problems. But as you can see, pretty much everything that we cut has grown back, and it's grown back in weird ways. I didn't expect trees to do this. But let me show you this. This is pretty crazy. So all these, I cut these with a saw, and I planned to come back with a chainsaw. I had a lopper that was actually strong enough to get them, and I chopped them off, and they were bare trunks. These trees put growth out the sides of the trunks. I didn't know this particular tree could do that, but every single one of them, you'll find a thick trunk cut. I didn't think they could put growth on that low, you know. I figured once you top them, that was the end, but apparently that's not the end. They just, they come on. And they did. They're dwarf now, but that won't be the case pretty soon. I'm gonna have to slice them again. I'm gonna have to cut them at the base and put some Roundup. But this is pretty much what a lot goes on out here, is cutting these paths and keeping the grass cut. And this stuff, you let it sit long enough and trees start coming up. So you're working your butt off to get it done, and in 96-degree heat it'll knock you on your butt pretty quick. And thanks to Jasper Newton Electrical Cooperative, I have a right-of-way that blasts through my property all the way past the corner of my yard. But what it does, I think something has died out here. That does not smell favorable. Anyway, what it does is I have a clear shot from here all the way down there. It's all the hunting you could ever want to do, all up and down this right-of-way. And I believe that storm is coming on our way. There's another bunch. But this goes all the way back to the railroad, and you can see the green growth. I just cut this like a week ago, and already stuff is starting to come back up again. There'll be trees all up and down here. Actually, I cut it less than that. I cut it a few days ago and like to killed myself. But this, all of this out here, this was all blackberries, or dewberries, or whatever they call them here. We harvested the heck out of them, and then when the harvest died off, we started chopping this, but I've lost ground against it. It's just too much for a push mower. It's just too much for a push mower. And we've got a nice green mat on our path. It stays green now that it's warmed up. We had moss here that was a really cool green on the ground during the colder months. But the warmer months came, the moss subsided, and we have grass for the most part now. And it just grows and grows and grows.